I'll go.
I'll go or after go? Or 1, 2, 3.
That's my
1, 2, 3, and then do it. Then do it.
On
How do you do? After 3. No, on 3. After 3.
1, 2,
You said
3.
go and then go.
3 and then go.
Yeah.
You twist it.
Okay.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
My name is Gabriela Rios. I am 21 weeks pregnant. It's made it difficult, very, very difficult. I'm gonna be honest, it showed a lot in my grades, but thankfully I only have 2 in-person classes. And in those classes, both professors are very understanding. I've been blessed in that way. I'm a child development major, so they fully understand. So I found out New Year's Eve, and I'm the type of person that's like, okay, I like peace of mind. So I took a pregnancy test. My roommate Alyssa is asleep, and like in my head I'm like, oh, it's gonna be negative. It's gonna be negative because anytime I've ever taken one, always negative. So I flip it over, and it's positive.
I was kind of just like, what's going on? Because like Gabby knocked on my door, just like Alyssa, I need to talk to you. And she told me like, I think I'm pregnant, and I was like, nah, like you're not pregnant, like. You know what I mean? Like, we had just gotten off of, like, October, like, Halloween, and now she was just like, oh, like, she had just had her 21st birthday, now she's like, oh, I'm pregnant. And I was like, I don't know if you're pregnant. It's just probably, like, a false positive. And then she showed me, like, the first test, and then I told her, well, you need to get, like, 6 or 8 tests and make sure that it came back. And she took, like, 6 or 7 of them, and she, like, showed them all to me, and, yeah, she was pregnant.
As soon as I found out I was pregnant, I knew not going through pregnancy was not for me, just because it was more of like, this can be my, like, what if this is my only chance? So I was like, you know what, whatever the situation is, like, if I have to do it alone, I'm gonna do it alone. But I knew, like, with Enzo, with Lorenzo, he's not that type of man. Like, I know him, he's gonna step up.
I was terrified. Like, my first reaction was fear. When she first told me, she brought me into the room and she was like, surprise, like, had the pregnancy test on the table and everything, and I was like,
oh my gosh, okay, I finally get to tell him. I was really excited. Like, in my head, I expected, like, the super cute, like, you see on YouTube, you see on TikTok, like, oh my god, like, the crying and everything. So he opens it, he looks at it, he's like, for real?
I was just in shock. I was just standing there just, like, scared. Cause, like, all the negative thoughts, well, not negative, but, like, all the fears I had about having a child this young were racing through my mind immediately, right? Like, everything was just racing through my mind all at once, and I wasn't able to really enjoy the joy of the moment. But later on, we ended up talking about it later that night, and it was a happy moment. But in that moment, it was scary. It really was.
A little bit of time to process, and it seemed like, and then once it hit him, he was really excited.
It's something that we've talked about before, and I could see the joy in her eyes, the joy in her face, because for a while, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to have kids. It was a whole thing. Like, she has her own situation going on within herself, and it was always a question of whether or not we'd be able to have a kid in the future. So finding this out, like, it was like, oh, like, it was just an extra surprise on top of, like sure, like, having a kid, like, oh crap, but it's like, she wasn't supposed to be allowed to get pregnant, like, with how her body is, like, so it's kind of like a miracle in a way, if you really think about it.
My medical history is insane. Or I had, a softball-sized tumor on my right ovary. Had to get both of those removed. And so when that happened, they did find out that the tumor was cancerous. Because it was always my dream to be a mom. I feel like I had an idea. It didn't, like, hit me until I was actually experiencing it. But it does make it very difficult, very hard mentally and physically. So trying to keep up with all that homework while feeling like absolute garbage, sometimes it just doesn't get done. I was blessed with such a supportive boss and work environment that anytime I'm not feeling good or just kind of need a day or I need to miss because of appointments or like if I need rest for a week, like last week I had to super understand, like I just say the word like, okay, you know what, do what you gotta do. We're here. I am honestly looking forward to the nursery, and honestly just meeting the baby. In my culture, we're supposed to have a dream where you dream, you have the dream, and it's basically like, oh, you know what you're gonna have after that dream. I never got anything. I didn't get a dream. We tried all the wives' tales, all of them split down the middle, so I absolutely have no idea.
So, chances are it's gonna be a girl, so I'm expecting a girl, to be honest.
So I've been team girl since the very beginning. For some reason, like when Gabby first told me, like what flashed in my mind was just a baby girl. Call it my intuition, but like ever since then, I've just only like envisioned Gabby as a girl mom, and I'm almost 100% sure it's gonna be a girl.
Oh, a 3 and then go.
Closer.
Okay, not at it. Okay.
1,